everyone. Adat, thank you for joining the 21st episode of 365 Days of Tabla. In this journey, we learned the art of tabla, its craft, and the history of the instrument that we so love and adore. In the previous episodes, we had learned how to tune tabla, the bowls of right hand as well as the left hand. We had learned the combined bowls. We have also learned qaida number 1, qaida number 2, and we have also discussed the different viewpoints in respect to the origin of tabla. In the previous episode, at the end of qaida number 2, I had said that in the later episode, we are going to start with qaida number 3. But today, this being the 21st episode, in this episode, we are going to extensively talk about why is it important to introduce our children to tabla after the age of 4. Now, this is a theoretical episode. Following this will be another qaida episode, another practical episode. But after every qaida or gut episode, after a few practical episodes, like after a couple of batches of practical episodes, we will do one episode of theory, because it is really important to understand what tabla is and how is it beneficial for all of us. In today's age, we as youth, we are indulged into a lot of activities. And that is the reason why there are some common ailments that we are facing. These includes anxiety, stress, reduced attention spans, reduced attention, and emotional loneliness. So with emotional loneliness, we become very, there's a lot of emptiness in us. Attention deficiency is because of constantly watching reels or short episodes, 1 minute episodes. That is the reason why we are unable to attain or we are unable to retain our attention for a longer period of time. That is why you see a lot of people continuously scrolling for days. And this is because they cannot retain what information they are gaining from these reels, because they continue scrolling on it. They are unable to retain their attention. And this is the reason why we should introduce tabla into our lives. Nowadays, we introduce mobiles to our children at a very young age. These children know how to scroll reels, browse through reels, operate smartphones. And this is the reason why a lot of children at this day and age have become very restless, lack attention, unable to retain memory, reduce memories, and there's a lot of anger or agitation in them. Now, this is not a lecture episode. This is not something that I'm doing this. I'm saying to discourage you, from giving smartphones to your children, because, well, we all understand that smartphones are also very beneficial for our children. Like, after COVID, there are a lot of online educational videos through which our children can learn diverse subjects, a lot of subjects, without even moving themselves from our vicinity. But this has also certain side effects. Because of constantly on phone or on laptop, the mobility of our children have reduced significantly. The mobility has reduced, the attention span has reduced, the concept of structure attention is reduced. So it is very much important for all of us to introduce our children at a very tender age to Indian classical music. So at what age should we ideally put our children or introduce our children to tabla or any Indian classical music instrument? Ideally, it is said that a child should be introduced to Indian music after after he or she attains the age of 4. The reason behind this is that after the age of 4, a child's brain develops motor coordination, better motor coordination. Motor coordination is the use of your frontal lobe, your cerebellum, which are the mediums for understanding coordinative exercises. After the age of 4, a child also develops better listening ability. It also develops the recognition of sound, different sort of sounds. The different sort of rhythm patterns are also recognized by the child. Uh, since children are imitators in a way, are basic imitators because they imitate whatever they see. If a father plays tabla, you must have seen that a child also has an inclination towards playing tabla. So now for example, I have a nephew. So he's just 2 years old right now. So I really want him to learn tabla. It's not up to me though, but I want him to learn tabla because tabla, if he learns tabla at a very young age, when he becomes a teen, when he reaches his youth, this education, this education of Indian classical music will help him will help him a lot in the daily run of his life. Similarly, if a child starts learning tabla at a very tender age, it helps him face different uh, challenges of life at a calm and composed manner. So that is the reason why we should introduce our children to tabla at a very early age. Also, there's one more point. Tabla, tabla has repeating boards. So it has repeating boards, it has counting, it has different hand uh, uh, independence. It requires both hand to be independently working, and it also requires a person to sit in a folded posture for a longer period of time. This this discipline is very much required in the early age or the early age of a child, because this helps in developing memory, in retaining memory, The hand independence helps in understanding movement and developing movement, easy movement. The posture in which tabla is, in which you play tabla, helps helps in posture correction. If your child, like we have heard this saying many a times, prevention is always better than cure. If your child knows how to sit in, if your child is knows how to sit uh, in a posture correct manner, then he will never bend. So in long run, if this continues, in long run, he will not have the tendency to bend. He will not have tendency. He will not suffer from issues which are spine related. So this is another aspect for us to introduce our children to tabla. As you know, like youth today have a very reduced attention. Our attention span has reduced significantly. Our memory retention has also reduced significantly. It is difficult to memorize things in a serial manner. We use for even, like for example, this is very common. There's an I'm just sharing something with you. You can check this out. This is there on Google Play Store as well. Uh, our memory retention is so small at present that we need a reminder to even drink water. There is an app. I'm not kidding. There's an actual app in Play Store. You can find it in Play Store as well as in App Store, which gives you notifications in a day to drink a basic thing, a basic necessity, which is matlab, something which is very basic, to drink a glass of water in every half an hour or an hour. So this thing notifies you to drink a glass of water. So our memory is it's so reduced that we need an app to remind us to drink a glass of water. Similarly, if you must be having your smartphones and all. So there is a application in all of your smartphones, whether you are using Apple mobile phones or you're using Android mobile phones or any other mobile phone, whichever mobile phone you are using, whichever smartphone you are using. There is an application called Reminder. People put basic stuff, basic stuff as reminders. So this is what our attention and this is what our memory has reduced to. We don't want this to be with our children as well. That is the reason why we introduce our children to Indian classical instrument. Now I'll tell you how tabla helps in memory retention. Now in the previous classes, I had requested you to please practice Qaida number 1, the entire Qaida with its all improvisation at the high, and after that, play the Teka ones, and then start your second Qaida, play it slowly, and then move on to a higher speed, and then play all of the improvisation one after the other. Do you know what this does? It helps you in retain your memory. It helps you qualify. It helps you to uh, to improve on your memory because you're actually improving on your memory retention. Now imagine your child at an early age of 5, 4, 6, whichever. He understands this concept and he has put this on practice. So now tell me, won't he be far better than what we are at present? When he reaches our age, won't he be far better than what we are at the present? And this is the reason why we should introduce our children to tabla. Not because we want this our child to become a tabla maestro or something like that. That he can achieve. He is entitled to choose his own profession. My nephew is entitled to choose his own profession. Whatever he wants to do, wants to become, he can become. He can become a doctor, he can become an engineer, he can become a tabla player, whatever he wishes to become. He can become when he reaches that age. But we as a children, we as parents, we would love our child to have basic retentions of memory. Be calm, composed. Because if you're calm and composed, you'll be able to face the world properly without losing your own composure. So that is the reason why tabla is important. Scientists have said, there are a lot of scientists who have actually studied this instrument, and they have said that tabla is neuroscience. It is not just an instrument, it is neuroscience. It is like a meditation. It helps you calm your brain. It helps you retain memory. It helps you retain attention. It reduces cortisol. It reduces cortisol spikes. It reduces anxiety. So now we have understood why introducing our children to tabla is important at a very tender age. So now, with this, we would like to end episode number 21. In the next episode, we would be introducing ourselves to our new kaila. Also, we will introduce a new style in which we can teach our children tabla. That way, we will be able to make them learn tabla by ourselves, and later on, when they get accustomed to it, we can take them to a guru. Thank you. So, with this, let's end episode number 21. Once again, I would like to request each and every one of you to kindly practice the 2 qaidas that we have learned so far. At least 5 to 10 minutes from your busy schedule, practice tabla. And also, try to introduce your children to tabla. Thank you so much for listening to me.